Hello, hello. Just real quick, I was just like an African kitty cat today. It's the last week of October. If you don't know, hi, I'm Cuban. It's just what I do. Um, Today I wanted to make a video about Prince's first album, and I'm gonna be making a video on each album that I listen to on this journey. Kind of exploring Prince for the first time, and let me just real quick tell you why. So, I work with the high school, and we were at competition talking about next year's show when Prince came up. And of course, I'm like, I know a couple of songs. I know Kiss. I know When Doves Cry, and they're of course like we're not gonna do any of that. I didn't know any of the other songs they were talking about, or I didn't know them by name. Diamonds and Pearls was one that came up, and I feel so like everyone's a little bit older, and I was like, yeah, I know that. And I had to go listen to it. Like, do I know this song? Okay, yeah, I do know this song. But I started the journey on Sunday. Like I said, it was literally yesterday with an album that I have for my record player, and I posted it. And one of my good friends, great musician, was like, "No, that is not the album you're about to start with. Prince is you need to start from the beginning. Basically, you need the full journey." And I was, as a musician, I respect that. And plus, I would love to see his progression and all that. So I we started with For You, the first album. This is going to be like a, again, video to go through each one and just why this has never happened before, because I know Prince is a great musician, but there was always this comparison, like, is it Prince or is it Michael? And if we gotta compare the two, Michael is more, feels like more of a foundation of like a family person, like a family name, like I started listening to Michael when I was in like first grade. My uncle, my aunt, like all these family members, they love the Jackson Five, and we've been to concerts, and so it's just like they took me one, I think last year or 2 years, I guess now it's 2 years ago. Great memory in my head, being there with family and enjoying the members that are still performing. And it's just like, first off, why do we have to compare those two great musicians? Like, we don't have to compare apples and oranges. They were both great. But that's what came up a lot. Is it Michael or is it Prince? Who's better? And it's gonna be Michael. If I have to choose, it's gonna be Michael. But no, I have not given Prince a fair chance at all because of that. And so now is me, like, going back and listening to every song, and I don't want to say critiquing, because who am I to critique this legend of a man? He was great, and I appreciate everything that he did and put out, and I appreciate the hard work that took. And so I'm just sharing my opinion on, some music, just listening to it and for the first time experiencing it and sharing that experience with you guys. Okay, so I'm going to jump in about the songs. I listened from beginning to end. I thought it was very important to me to go in the specific order that it was designed in to get the experience. So starting with the first song, For You. Wow, it starts a cappella. It's just his voice, and it's his voice multiple times. I think about how some of the stuff I read, like during that time, they thought it was very choppy and like, oh, very recorded. And now I'm like, that's great. We use machines to do stuff like that now on purpose. And he was already doing stuff like that and singing with himself and harmonizing, and loved it. It was very soft and pretty. And like this album, I'm pretty sure Prince just found his place on my future wedding like playlist, because yes, it goes into In Love, which is like, so In Love is this love funk song. Really enjoyed it. It's all the instruments we love to hear, all the great layers. Like, I think about all the layers that went into funk music, and it was there. Soft and Wet came next, and it sounds almost like a continuation of In Love. So In Love happened in like phase, and then you have Soft and Wet, which sounds like one of those where it could have been the same song, but this is our faster version of it, like once the energy picks up and it keeps going. Soft and Wet, oh my gosh, like before I even found out, I was like, this might be my favorite one. And then I go and find out it was the lead single. And the music is just like, when I think about what's the difference, what made this stand out is like the go-to one. It fit what they were doing at that time. It's like it fit into the mode of what was funk. It had like at first I said the guitar, but all the music is just way more funkier with this. And like, is that a word they used back then? Probably not. They didn't say it like that, but like, yeah, it had the funk. It was like, yes. And then the falsetto. Whew, and then out of nowhere, he said real low something like, tell tell me that you love me, girl. I took notes. But he said, tell me that you love. He was like, sing it up here. And all of a sudden, like, tell me that you love me, girl. I was like, I know back then, those teenagers, they heard that. They were like, oh, it's right. I know for a fact. Yes, Prince. Whew. So then after that, because that one was already up there, we have Crazy You. And he starts this song by saying, you got a strange way about you, kind of crazy, but I love you just the same. And I was like, he's the only person that can say that and it'd be seen as a compliment, because what? I like that one. This one more, oh, I know what it is. This has the water drop sounds in it a lot. And to me, I just like that sound. SWV uses it in Rain in the 90s. I think about, like, a lot of songs. When I hear that song, I'm like, I'm usually very, like, into the song. But it soothes you, kind of like, you know, after we pumped it up with Soft and Wet, and it's, like, still all about love. This one soothes you. And the next one, called Just As Long As We're Together. I think this one also, like, it's a tie. This one might be my favorite. But it's also another lead single. So, I guess you know, same opinion as everyone else, kind of. It almost sounds like a duet, this one. It sounds like a duet with him and him. Like, it starts with the falsetto voice. And not saying anything about the voice, but the feeling of it sounds way more feminine almost. And then the second verse comes in and he's singing with his low voice. And I'm just like, whoa. That switch, like that, you know, that automatically, immediately, I'm like, wait, now I gotta go back and listen to that first verse again. And when I say feminine, it's like, it's just the words. He uses girl a lot in the second when he doesn't do it in the first. But as soon as the voice drop, he's like, love you, girl, and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so cool, because it feels like a duet with him. This one, very rhythmically, the 70s. And real quick, I have a clip pulled up from Soul Train when they were talking to Brick. Brick was visiting. I'm going to play that so you can hear a little bit.
What does music mean?
Music means dance music.
Right. You guys make up besides making those great songs, records, you make up your own words.
Yeah, well, we're from, you know, another part of the country, you know, like Atlanta's a little place, you know, and it's away from most everybody. So we just come up with different things to have a good time with, you know, and it catches on, I guess.
But Duzik, I don't know if you ever heard that by Brick, but go listen to that. Shout out to them. I don't want to go on the rant because I love everything. Like, this group, they were, and if you listen to the rest of this interview when they were on Soul Train, it's like a jazz group went with the funk group, got together and started fusing, and then you just gotta, like, before, I don't want to go on a rant about that, but as you can see, I love music, and I love good music, and want to, you know, even if it's older, want to get involved and hear it and kind of see what the foundation of music's been. But the reason I even bring that up is because in Just As Long As We're Together, I hear a lot of, like, similarities between the 70s. This one sounds like the 70s. I hear, like, other songs in it, like the OJs. I can hear Brick. Ain't gonna hurt nobody to get on down. That music, like, it's that kind of rhythmic vibe to it. Again, this is like I can't decide if it's my second favorite, but it definitely has a 70s dance vibe to it. And then, because, you know, this is the part where you flip over the album, I'm going to stop this video and talk about the rest of it in the next. Alright, side 2. Alright, this side starts with Baby. This is one that they actually ended up liking. To me, it was not immediately my favorite, but I'm always, you know, I try to be a professional about it. Remember that this is someone's hard work. This is not just something you say, oh, I don't like it and turn it off. Like, to me, you invested time in this. I want to be respectful. So I try to hone back in, try to listen again. What am I not liking, or what am I hearing, and, like, what am I not connecting with? And then try to connect with something. So as I started to listen to this more, I just got into it, and it actually reminded me of Leave the Door Open. It has, like, you know, the drum set and all these instruments are playing and all this is going on, but this sounds like the original, like, Leave the Door Open. So I'm like, yeah, it's like I'm getting into it as it goes on. I think maybe at this point I just had got tired of the topic of love because this song is, I mean, this playlist, this album is very much love, 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 crazy, crazy you, but love you, love, and it's all yeah. That's for 30 minutes. I was like, okay, he loves whoever this is, but no. When I force myself to go back and listen to it, it does give me those kind of vibes. Leave the door open, and I can hear the different layers, and I appreciate that still. Then My Love Is Forever. It actually sounds like a continuation from the previous song, but I ended up liking this one more. And maybe it's just the tempo kind of thing for me, and this one's groovier and it's a little bit faster. Really danceable. Like I was kind of like two stepping, like, hey, we should have this at we should retire before I let go. No offense to that, I love that song, but maybe we should retire that one and put this one on the playlist. Like this should be at the cookout. But and then and as you're dancing and into it, there is this awesome guitar solo that comes out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh my gosh! Like my inner rock star is like, yeah. And so, like, the kid me that loved guitar, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is what we needed to progress more. I feel like we didn't have a progression, and we did. It was just not widely spread of like in black music using the guitar as a like the rock instrument kind of thing. We don't see a lot of rock groups from the black community continue to spread after the 70s, more into the 80s, but I actually know there are some, and even now there's some metal groups and rock that I'm luckily surrounding myself with and finding out about just more of our representation in that community. And then so we go on to So Blue. It starts with a bass guitar kind of riff, and I'm not expecting it, but then that breaks out into this soft guitar and a trombone solo that's just so when I say I wanted to be crying before this song had even started, well, it was that good. You got that. To me, it's like the vibe of the '60s, like love, and I want to kind of sing it at a jazz and like this kind of like dance while I sing it. But then it also has like it's like the bridge. It feels like the bridge between that and En Vogue. So the '60s, the Supremes, and then like En Vogue, which of course those groups are connected. This seems like a stepping stone in that kind of genre, that kind of vibe to it. As I was listening, I thought this was the end. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like, as I'm like crying. This is like the perfect ending to this album. It's about you, about for you is love. And then, you get to the end, it's like, oh, so blue because I don't have you anymore. And it's like, oh my gosh, perfect. And then as it fades out, I'm Yours comes in. And again, mind blown because I feel like I'm like put back into the rock star mode, but like 70s and funk. So like funk rock, like not punk rock, funk rock should definitely be a thing because I love it. I'm listening to this. I'm like, as the solo comes up and as it continues, this should be on Guitar Hero. Why is this not on Guitar? I would kill this on Guitar Hero. Don't ask me to play it on a real guitar, but on Guitar Hero, I would kill this. I overall love the album, love, love, love. A bit of information about the album. Again, my experience is I want to be focused on listening to it. So I'm not doing like a bunch of research, but I also do want to do some research out of respect and just to know the information. So this is like a quick read of the Wikipedia and like Google, so just to get the information and the gist of the album. When it came out, the successes of the album Soft and Wet ended up being placed number 92 on the Billboard Hot 100. But it was number 12 on the hot, they call it soul songs, it looks like, because right now, like when I look it up, it says R&B, but I think it was called soul back then. But it was number 12 on that playlist, that album, or that hot Billboard hot list. When I look up critiques about it, basically it's a one-man band and it's very choppy. Again, they were talking about the use of the technology, but I think what kind of sold everyone on it was his great falsetto, like, and control of it and ability to keep it going. Like this whole album is basically falsetto except for one verse, for real. It was awesome. When I look at the scoring of it, it's a B minus from like from programs like Entertainment Weekly. It's a 2.5 from like Rolling Stone's album guide. And I guess they're comparing it to what's going on at the time. But no, like I do not. 2.5 stars, like out of 5, or is it out of 3? Because this was, and he was 19 when he did this. Basically, it's like he produced it. He, composed it and wrote. So he's not just writing the words. He's in lyrics. He's writing the instruments and he's arranging all this stuff around. At 19, this is what he created. Like, I'm so glad I started with this so I could see, like I said, the progression. Awesome. Um, it was recorded from September to February, so 5 months. In 5 months, he had this recorded. He played instruments on it. He performed the different pieces. And I do want to give writing credit to Chris Moon for Soft and Wet, and I think one more song. So only on those 2 songs did he have someone like help with the writing, and it was Chris Moon. Um, Trying to think of anything else I want to include. I just, like I said, I really enjoyed this. I want to say shout out, thank you, Trevor, for encouraging me to do this. I cannot wait for the next one. And y'all have a great evening. Bye.